out in marketing ways and that type of thing. And you hear that. In fact, with the Asian players, there was that conversation a couple of years ago about speaking English on the fairways. You got some up-and-coming young players, Anna Nordquist, Michelle Wie, Suzanne Pedersen. You know, is there something in particular that the LPGA needs to do to really be more into a limelight for the fans?
Well, I think the LPGA is doing a lot on their end. We're very fan-friendly. I think that we're great in Pro-Ams. We're constantly hearing, you know, we love to play with the women. They interact. You know, saying that, there was the English, and without that even coming out, all those young ladies were learning English. Right. They were already taking the class. It wasn't like it was demanded of them, they were doing it. Right. So there are things that are going that way. I think, though, in order for it to be more enticing to the American fans and the American TV, we need more Americans.
So we need Christy Kerr to step up. We need Paula Creamer to step up. We need Michelle Wie to stop playing men's events, which it looks like she's done.
She has.
Which it looks like she stopped doing.
But you can't rely on just 3 players.
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing. And that's they are carrying the torch. And but our system of development is completely different than other countries. And we're starting to get more of the schools where they're, you know, basically training these kids to come out earlier, but I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing for the actual student or the golfer. Right. It may be for the sport, right. But I don't know if it's the best for the student. So.
Right. Let's see here. We were talking about individuals and individual play and people coming out. Natalie Gulbis has been a fan darling, to say the least. I mean, I would venture to say, just opinion-wise, she does a lot marketing-wise herself in her career with modeling and her calendar and all the other types of things. She was on The Apprentice. She's had 1 win. I mean, if I would say she's the Anna Kournikova of golf. You know, but at least she has a win. Anna Kournikova didn't. But is that type of marketing individually, we talk about, is that good for golf in general, or is any you know, you're saying any type of
absolutely. I mean, I think that it's great marketing. It's not only good marketing for her, and she is profiting individually, but that also gives name recognition to the LPGA Tour. Right. So anybody who has their name out there and is more visible and recognizable helps the tour in that way, and she's taken it upon herself to do that. Michelle McGann used to do it with the hats that she wore, and she'd hand out all these cards, and that was a great way of marketing for her. I think that, you know, you almost have to do that as an individual if you want to kind of step out there and be more recognizable, or you have to win major championships.
Right. Right. Well, there's nothing that beats winning, that's for sure.
Well, absolutely.
And Americans love winning.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, you were talking about players that were older at one time. You look at the model of Nancy Lopez's career. She started as a young phenom, but then evolved as a mom and continued to be a leader in the community and the LPGA, and you know, that's the kind of thing you don't see that as much anymore.
Well, I think you're not going to see that as much anymore. One, because there are a lot more younger kids out there, and their only focus is golf. And 2, it's become much more international. I think almost 50% of our tournaments are international. Right. And as a mom, and I tried doing this, it's very difficult. It's difficult taking your child and going, first of all, you're probably not going to take them to certain countries. It's just too hard of a trip, or you just don't want to take them there. Right. So then what do you do? Do you stop playing golf and be a mom, or you know, play golf and not be a mom? And more than likely you're going to choose the mom, because you made a choice to have a child, and that's what you want to do. And that's kind of, a lot of my friends are in the same situation. They've all decided to put the clubs away, or at least let them sit for a while until we see if the tour gets more domestic events where it's feasible to have a family and play on tour.
Right. Now, we were talking a little bit before we came on the air about how the game is evolving and changing, and you said, you know, I can remember sitting on the tee and being in a tournament and seeing how things have evolved and changed in terms of my game versus the kids that you're playing up against.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, what I was talking about is a couple years ago I did commentary for Golf Channel at Prattville event in Alabama, and I played in the morning and then went and did TV in the afternoon. And I was recovering from mono. mind you.
Okay.
But still saying that, I've never been known for my length. And this golf course had all these dog legs, and I played it, and you know, it wasn't a great score, but not horrendous. And then I went and watched the leaders play and watched what they were hitting into the holes and the type of shots that they were hitting.
They're cutting off dog legs and hit, yeah.
It was unbelievable, and I thought, well, this is just eye-opening, isn't it? You know, so I went, I hired a trainer, and I said, I'm going to come out next year and go get them, and I did the best I could. But, you know, if you don't have length, it's hard to gain it.
Right.
It starts at a young age, and that wasn't the way we were taught before.
Right. Now, your career has evolved in that, you know, you talk about evolving, you're doing more commentating now, you're teaching now, and you're a mom now.
Mm-hmm.
How, of all the different roles, what's your favorite?
Mom.
Oh, there you go.
Mom.
That sounds like a good way to go.
Yeah, I'm very blessed with a wonderful family, great husband, and adorable kid, except when he won't go to bed at night. But besides that, you know, it's a lot of fun.
That's great. Now, I have to ask you a question about kind of a sad event that's happened in the LPGA family. Erica Blasberg and her suicide this year. Did you have any interaction with Erica?
Yes, we actually used to have a big sister, little sister program, and she was my little sister.
Wow.
So I did not know her extremely well. I knew her on a professional level, and I looked after her the year that she was my little sister on tour and kind of kept in touch. It's very shocking. I honestly find it still very difficult to believe that that is the actual cause. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, whether it was or wasn't, it doesn't bring her back. Right. And it's unfortunate because she was a great young lady, immense amount of talent. There's a lot of pressure that's out when you're playing professional golf, and actually any job for that matter. Right. I mean, honestly. And maybe it did get to her, maybe it didn't, but she will be missed by everybody.
Oh. And that's that you say that about the pressure that's there, and that's it's anytime, if anything, if this gives people an opportunity to take a step back and say, let's assess how the pressure is affecting young people, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Now let's move on a little bit. This is Ryder Cup week, and the guys are over in Wales playing against the Euros, the U.S. versus the Euros. What do you think? The U.S. team have a chance?
Well, I mean, obviously they have a chance. I definitely think it favors Europe. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like, but Europe does know the golf course better. U.S. hasn't really done that well overseas. Right. Really, in general, they haven't done that well, except for last year that they won. So they're riding on that high. I love the U.S. captain, Corey Pavin. Love him. Right. A lot of spunk. And you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this team. I mean, I'm hoping that they pull it out. It'll be fun to watch. Oh,
that's cool. I mean, the one thing for me is we talk about, for me anyway, I look at the difference between watching the Solheim Cup and the Ryder Cup, and it feels different energy-wise, competition-wise. There seems to be more camaraderie with regard to the ladies on the teams, and more cutting up and more fun, as opposed to the guys are deadly serious and want to go out and cut each other's throats. But also, I feel it with the guys. You get more of hired mercenaries coming together as opposed to a team going to play.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a pretty serious thing. I mean, the bantering starts at a very, you know, once this one's over with, it'll start for the next one.
For 2 years from now.
Right. And I also think some of it's the age of the players. You know, they're obviously the men are a lot older, probably more the average age is, I would say, 30 to 35. Right. So you're going to have a different demeanor with the team that way. And also the crowds. I mean, there's huge crowds that come out for Ryder Cup. Solheim Cup has really elevated in its status, and they're getting more and more people out there, and it's becoming more engaging, but the U.S. is really dominated, okay? Right. So you can't have a rivalry so much if one is dominant, whereas, you know, for Ryder Cup, the men haven't dominated and actually maybe are on the losing side, so the U.S. really wants to get back there, and as a fan, being a U.S. citizen and everything, we want them to win. Yeah, we want them to win, exactly. So that's great. Well, no, for anybody who wants to join our conversation here and call in a question, our number in the studio is 813-254-7820, or you can send us an email at sportsoundoff@aol.com.